Fellas, in today's video, we are looking at the 2025 April 11th balance notes for Season 2 when that begins. Starting off, there's a lot to cover. I'm sure there's going to be more to come, but this is everything that we know so far from Marvel Rivals themselves. With that, we have Captain America. His base health is going from 675 to 650, and he's also getting a nerf to his shield, going from 400 to 350. He's already kind of hard to play, so I'm not sure why they're debuffing him, but we'll see more on how that plays out later. Doctor Strange gets a bigger nerf this goes around as well. He does get a damage nerf going from 18 to 16, and then the Maelstrom of Madness conversion ratio, so the dark magic meter that builds up, is going from 1.3 to 1.2. On top of his team up going away with the Hulk, they used to do 1.4. So I don't think this is going to break him all too hard, but I have a feeling he's no longer going to be S tier, but A tier. Word is that he's supposed to get some sort of buff to his shield, but nothing here is mentioned. And then with the Hulk, he gets a movement bonus and reduce the cooldown time of his indestructible guard, his shield, from every 12 seconds to every 10 seconds, and decrease the minimum charge up time for his leap from 0.7 seconds to 0.5. So for all the Hulk mains out there, this is a nice buff. Magneto, his ultimate is going to cost a little bit more energy. Honestly, if you do end up using it solely for the support ultimates, not really that big of a deal, but in general is a nerf. And then with Penny, her separate web cluster now has a chance to crit and reduce the movement penalty while firing from 40% to 20%. That's going to be really nice, with a bonus health increase from 650 to 750, a whole 100 increase. With the Thing, his E ability, his leap to give shield, now is reduced from 30 to 25%. And with Thor, this is a great one. His base health is going from 525 to 600, and his movement bonus is going from 600 to 650. A little bit faster, same thing as the Hulk. Next up we have Black Widow, where she can now shoot directly after releasing the second kick of Edge Dancer and after using her ultimate ability, allowing her to get shots off faster. With Hawkeye, reduce the slow effect while charging the bow from 30% to 20%, increase both instances of damage with the hypersonic arrow from 50 to 55, decrease the energy cost of his ultimate ability from 3700 to 31, and increase the draw speed of his bow by 0.15. Big boost to Hawkeye. With Hela, increase the cooldown time of her Astral Flock, that's her crow shapeshift ability, from 12 seconds to 15. Increase the spell field damage of the Piercing Knight from 30 to 35. Not a huge deal, but extra damage does help. And then lastly, decrease the cooldown time of Soul Drainer, I believe that's her E ability, from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. Kind of annoying to deal with, but not a huge thing since I don't see a lot of people use it. And then with the Human Torch, reduce the attack interval of Fire Cluster from 0.6 seconds to 0.5 so he can get the attack off faster. That is his basic attack. And increase the cooldown of the Flaming Meteor, his big fireball, from 12 seconds to 15 seconds, but now has a new effect. After releasing Flaming Meteor, he immediately gains 75 bonus health. However, this does start to fall off after 3 seconds at a rate of 30 health per second. You know, that's very interesting. With Iron Man, slightly reduces hitbox. He just had a huge buff in the recent patch. And then a new feature, gain a bonus health of 100 after activating Armor Overdrive or Gamma Overdrive. That starts to fall off after 5 seconds at a rate of 30 health per second. So I think there's going to be a lot more Iron Man. With the boost to Hulk, which is already fantastic, and now another buff to Iron Man, plus Namor, who's going to be what you use for flyers. That I think is going to be the new meta team up. Hope you are good with snipers. Coming up next, we have Iron Fist. Reduce the bonus max health gain from the Harmony Recovery from 150 to 100. That was a fast reduction. But now the rate of fall off is slowed from 25 health per second to 15. Not sure if that's going to make a whole ton of difference, but I don't play enough of him to really say much. And then we lowered the fixed damage of the, I'm not going to say his combos because I will butcher it, from 10 damage to 9, but increased the percentage damage of the enemy's max health per strike from 1.7 to 2.1. Really? So the basic attack does less overall base damage, but now does more chunk max health. Good for tanks. Well, good for taking on tanks. And decrease the cooldown of the kick from 12 seconds to 10. I have not heard anyone say that Iron Fist is too weak. I've heard a lot of people complain about him, but hopefully this gives him more viability. Now with Mr. Fantastic, he was new in season 1. Increase his base health from 350 to 375. Boost the damage of the stretch punch from 60 to 65. And from 70 to 80 while in his inflated state. Okay, cool. Flexible elongation, new effect. Enemies within range now suffer a 35% slow effect. And the cooldown goes from 10 to 8 seconds. 35% is pretty crazy. I think that's right on par with Black Widow's ultimate. It should be easier to aim. Honestly, as much as I don't like it, I think that's a good buff. Reduce the elasticity gain from elastic strength, his passive ability, from 30 to 20, while the elasticity provided by the stretch punch increased from 5 to 8. And then after entering the inflated state, his big tank-like ability, the bonus health provided to self has been reduced from 450 to 400. Not a huge difference. Yeah, not a huge difference, especially with the new bonus health in general. So in total, he loses 25 health from his tank form. And he's getting a new feature. When he uses his ultimate ability, immediately gain bonus health equal to that gained when entering inflated state. It's hard to hit him anyways. What's the point of that? Doesn't mention anything about the health drop off, so it might last as long as the ultimate does, or it could start to ticker down afterwards. That's likely what's going to be the case eventually, but right off the bat, I don't know. Now with Moon Knight, I've been learning him. He is very strong. Increases crescent dart projectile speed from 120 to 150. That's good, because it's a little bit of a pain to aim. Moonblade new effect, gain 25 bonus health with each enemy hit, up to 100. And then 3 seconds after that bonus health stops, it falls off at 20 per second. The big blade. And then there's a speed up to the Moon Knight hook pull-up start time from 0.4 seconds to 0.15. Extended the duration of Hand of Khonshu, his ultimate ability, from 3.5 seconds to 4.5 seconds, and increased the number of talons generated from 14 to 18. Additionally, the fall speed of the talons have been enhanced. Okay, I haven't finished this yet, but that's stupid. A new damage fall-off mechanic for the spell field has been added, beginning at 1.5 meters from the center, reaching a maximum reduction of 70% at 5 meters. That should help, but it lasts longer, there's more talons. Moon Knight fans are eating. That is disgusting. Now we have Scarlet Witch. Remove chaos control percentage damage while increasing fixed damage from 60 to 80. So not as great on tanks, but better against everyone else. If you play against a good Scarlet Witch, she is a pain. I like that a lot. Increase the Chthonian burst projectile damage from 35 to 40 and spell field damage from 35 to 40. That's good buffs. Increase the cooldown of the Mystic Projection from 8 seconds to 10 and reduce the phase state time from 2 seconds to 1.5. And rework the slow effect of the Reality Erasure, the ultimate, to start at 1.5 seconds instead of starting immediately, with the linear increase to slow 35% at 3.5 seconds. Should make it easier to hit and move around. Yeah, good for Scarlet Witch. All right, Star-Lord, reduce Blaster Barrage, his shoot everywhere ability, from 80 damage per second to 75. Introduce a new damage fall-off mechanic starting at 4 meters, maxing out at 80% damage reduction at 8 meters. That's the extent that it goes, I believe. That's a huge blow to Star-Lord. That's a big blow to Star-Lord. Wow. And then with Bucky, increase the cooldown time of his Bionic Hook from 8 seconds to 12. Good. Reduce the base damage of the Kraken Impact, his ultimate ability, from 100 to 80. I thought it did more. Wow. but lowering the overall culling threshold from 20% to 15. You know what? I'm not going to get greedy. That's a good nerf. And then with Wolverine, increase the rage gained from the Savage Claws from 7 to 10, while rage gained from the Berserker Claw has been decreased from 7 to 5. Reduce rage gained from the Feral Leap from 20 to 10, and from the Vicious Rampage from 20 to 15. However, rage gained from taking damage has been increased to 3 to 5, and reduce the time the enemy is knocked down after impact from his ultimate from 1 second to 0.75. I need to see it in action, but I don't think that's gonna go over too great. And now lastly we have the strategists. Starting with Adam Warlock, increase the cooldown of his soulbound from 30 seconds to 40. That's horrendous. Look, I know that is a big nerf. However, if you do play Adam Warlock, you hold your soulbound for a good amount of time anyways. You don't constantly use it every time you have it available. That's not really that big of a deal. And his Karmic Revival, his ult, now restores 30% of fallen allies' maximum health instead of a fixed health of 100. Let me do some quick math. We'll say 750 as a base for tanks. That means the tanks will come back with 225 health and squishies will come back with 75 health. That's great for tanks, the ones who do get picked off fairly easy, but that's awful for just about everyone else. Interested to see how that works. And then with Cloak and Dagger, after activating their ultimate, the duration of the first 3 healing zones will no longer be calculated separately. Instead, they all remain active until the duration of the final healing zone ends, at which point they'll all be removed together. I think that's how it should be anyways. That is a nice buff. With Inviswoman, decrease the shield value of the Guardian Shield from 300 to 250. Then with Loki, increase the regeneration domain cooldown time from 25 seconds to 30. That's also kind of one of those things like the Soul Bond. You hold on to it for certain scenarios. I don't think that's going to be too big of a nerf. And with Mantis, reduce the base health from 275 to 250. Weird. And then effects of the Healing Flower and Applied Inspiration can be stacked up to a maximum of 16 seconds. Oh, Mantis is going to be extraordinarily good. Mantis is going to be the new hot pick. You can stack her healing over time, and her base healing, and then allied inspiration, so the bonus damage you can give to someone. You can give your Hawkeye, your Hela, or Black Widow 4 allied inspirations. Not that they need it. That's going to be absolutely disgusting. I guess it's time to learn Mantis. And then lastly with Rocket Raccoon, decrease the healing area of repair mode spheres from 70 health to 50. Wow. You know what? People call him a heal bot anyways. That's, I guess, good. But add a new effect of one-time healing of 55 health to allies hit per orb, I assume. And then projectile speed reduction increased from 4.5 meters a second to 7 meters a second. So it kind of sounds like they're making him more of a heal bot again. Because instead of being able to dive, he now is going to be more focused on shooting at his orbs. Because they heal less over time and they go faster. But they do get a one-time healing effect. So he sounds like a heal bot. Extend the cooldown for the jetpack dash from 6 to 10 seconds. Reduce the distance from 10 meters to 8 meters. Should be a little bit easier to kill him. And then for his ultimate, the damage boost is now reduced from 40 to 25%, but adds a new effect. During the duration, linked allies receive an additional 100 bonus health points per second, capping at 150. Rocket and Mantis are gonna be it. But once this link breaks, the bonus fallout starts after 1 second at a rate of 75 health per second for that overshield, and it costs a tiny bit more. Yeah, Mantis with their stacking, Rocket as a heal bot basically. I think those are gonna be the hot picks, especially in domination. Rocket is gonna be fantastic for domination. Now, we do have some new team up abilities and some ones being taken away. They said that more is due to come and they're going to change up some things still, but this is what we know so far. Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch. If you have not seen the clip of it, it's very cool. With this team up, Scarlet Witch gains a new mystical ability to basically do a burst damage with Doctor Strange. It's really cool. And as the team up anchor, Doctor Strange gains a maximum health increase of 100, kind of canceling out what was there before. With Cap and Bucky, Captain America gains bonus health of 100 and a 5% boost in damage output. There we go. And Winter Soldier unlocks a devastating stellar impact ability with Captain America. So he slams up with them, do damage, and it looks like it does block attacks as well. Emma Frost, very excited for Emma Frost if you haven't seen them yet. They are just pretty much exactly what I was wanting for a tank. They have a team up with Psylocke and Magneto. Emma Frost will get a bonus health of 100. Magneto receives like an illusion ability. Same thing with Psylocke. And then so far for adjusted or removed, Bucky is no longer getting the infinite ammo with Rocket. Namor no longer getting the ice squid with Luna. Big con to Luna. Psylocke no longer gets the portal with Magic. With the Hulk, he now gets teamed up with Namor. So with the Hulk, Doctor Strange will lose his Gamma Maelstrom ability that he previously had. That is a big nerf to him because that made him such a great tank to use. Even though he is fairly good on his own, that was a very, very big team up ability. But now Namor gains a Gamma Monster ability through his team up with the Hulk. So again, you'll likely see a lot of Hulk, Iron Man, Namor. Scarlet Witch and Magneto. Magneto loses his team up with Scarlet Witch, so he doesn't get that sword ability anymore. And with Thor, Captain America, and Storm, the team up anchor of Thor has been removed, so Captain America loses that bonus move he had, and Storm loses her bonus attack she had. And that's everything we have so far in the new patch notes that are coming on April 11th. I do think more is to come, but we'll see as it goes on. But for now, let me know, who are you most excited for? What are you thinking is going to be the new meta? I think it's definitely going to be Hulk, Iron Man, and Namor, as well as the supports being Mantis and Rocket. So hit that like button if you're still watching, subscribe for more videos like this if you haven't already, and stay tuned for the next one.